coming off of you everywhere. Good morning. This is Sally Morgan, physical therapist, craniosacral therapist, and Tellington T-Touch practitioner for animals and people. This is Tristan. He's a Corgi, and we're here for an episode of Conversations with a Corgi. Danny, I saw you've got your pork facility closing there. That's something. That thing is huge. Is that the one you worked at? Oh, really tragic. Anyway, today we're going to talk about some more things you can do to make yourself a little happier during your time in your house and away from your friends and with whatever else you have going on during this period of time. And actually, this is something that was inspired in a movie that many of you might remember called The Secret. It came out, I remember we got an advance copy at the first T-Touch celebration, which must have been in like 2003, 4, 5, somewhere in there. It's been a long time now since that movie came out. And one of the amazing things that you could have learned from the movie is to put words on things to change their relationship to you and the world. So for instance, after I saw that, I came home and I made little red paper hearts and I wrote love and gratitude on them, and I put them on anything in the house that might give you harmful waves. You know, the clock next to the bed, the television set, the computer, the phone. There was even a company at the time, I don't think we need these anymore, but making little heart-shaped things that grounded your phone so that it wouldn't emit waves into your brain. This is back when we only had like flip phones before iPhones were even invented. Yeah, it's in Sioux Falls. Yeah. Well, anyway, so one of the things that movie said that you could do is, you know, create your own reality. Change the way that you perceive things and you will change the way that things come to you. You know, if you have a lot of anger in yourself and in your life, you will draw anger to you, for instance. If you have a lot of love and compassion in your life, that's what you will draw to you. And so one of the things that I got from that movie was to post little heart-shaped love and gratitude on things. And then I started to put the love and gratitude hearts on things like the bag I took to work that had all my work materials in it when I was working in several different nursing homes. And they often fell off and were just running around in the bottom of the bag. But the sentiment was the same. I was grateful for that job, and I wanted that job to bring me love, not hardship and difficulty, which was often the case in nursing homes. The energy there is sometimes very hard for somebody like me to be around on an extended basis. So that really helped. And then I put them on the mirror in my house. In the morning, you can write little notes to yourself. So we're going to extend that now, and a lot of people do this already. I have to say, I am not original in this idea, and some people have been doing it for a long time. There was a woman I knew when I was being a somewhat professional dancer way long ago, in like 1981-ish. I was living in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, and a woman in my dance company really liked me, and she was the best dancer and I was the worst. And she took me under her wings to help me. And I'll tell you, we went to what was then the Danskin outlet in Pennsylvania. We were in Harrisburg. And we bought leg warmers and all the things that flash dance made famous, all the dance wear. And as soon as I started wearing leg warmers to class, I went from the worst person to sometimes better than my friend who was the best person in the class. So part of what happened was my legs finally were warm. They had enough circulation because I've always had low blood pressure, low heart rate. I'm like barely on the planet. And suddenly having extra circulation, I could, you know, do way faster jumps and changement than anybody in the class and jump higher, and everything was better. I had way more extension, and it just made a huge difference. So one of the wonderful lessons I learned from that friend from Germany, and I don't know, she's actually from Stuttgart, and when I went there 15, 20 years later, I didn't even think to look for her then, and I think she's still in Harrisburg. Her husband had a sign business, I think. But she took me to her house one day, and there was a beautiful small wicker basket right by the front door. And I said, oh, is that where you put your mail? And she said, sort of. And what happens is, in that basket every day, she and her husband, who had been married like 10 years, put little notes to each other, thanking them, apologizing, reminding them of something. And then that also extended to leaving little things like a chocolate bar or a little promise that you will have a romantic dinner today or something. And she said it was a great thing because it kept their marriage really warm and wonderful, because you could always, if you knew you had screwed up but you couldn't admit it, I mean, we were all like 20 something then, you could put a little note in the box saying, sorry, I love you. And that was enough to unhurt the other person's feelings most of the time, and for you to be able to confess your error without having to be confronted by somebody that might take you down for that. So it was a genius idea. So this idea that was followed up by in The Secret is one you can do for yourself. Now, if you live with somebody, especially kids, you can do this with kids too. You're going to find some Postits. If you're lucky, you have some fun ones in the house. These look like fried eggs. Some of them are flowers. I've had these a million years. I just found them actually when I was cleaning my office. I haven't seen them in 20 years. They were in a box with some other stuff. But they're really great to write little notes on. Like you can write hello sunshine and pop it on your mirror in the morning. Or you can write notes like you are loved. You know, you do good things for the world. You are smart. You are funny. You're a good dog mom. Notes to yourself that are true enough that you feel the truth in them when you see them. And I also have these Post-its notes I got from the Corgi people. These are Christmas Corgi notepads. But if you don't have cute Post-its, you can just take the bigger size square ones, especially if you have kids. But even if you don't, you can cut them into the shape of a heart or anything else you want. Cats, rabbits, dogs. And stick them around the house with little notes of love to yourself. And especially when things are hard right now, I think we forget how to take care of ourselves. Sometimes we're just rushing so much we just don't have time to worry about it, but now we do. So this is a great time to leave little notes to yourself around the house saying how much you are appreciated. And you can pretend the notes are from your cat or your dog or your horse. And if you have kids, it's really fun to do this with kids who are like 12 or 13 because they get kind of silly and they write things that sometimes don't really make sense. Like, you know, you are mom. Well, yes, I am. But that might not be exactly the same as leaving a note to yourself that says, you know, hello, sunshine. So, but when you see that and it's from your kid and it says you are mom, I mean, you have to look at all the things that entails. You're a caretaker. You protect, you love unconditionally, you nurture, you educate. So there's a lot that goes into that. So it's really fun to do this with kids. If you don't have kids and you have somebody else in the house, you can do this for each other. And I've done this many times for people, for friends, when they don't suspect I'm doing it. And I just use the square notepads in this case. And I just leave notes all over their house while I'm visiting them. And they don't know that I'm doing it. And then they find them. And sometimes I'll write on the back, you know, from Sally or something. But it's really fun to do that. And I had a friend, it was her birthday, and I put them all over her house with little notes that she found for months. Because I forget how old she was. She must have been turning 40. So maybe I did 80 or 120 notes, like a multiple of 40. And they were everywhere. They were on the ceiling. They were under her pillow. They were in her books. They were in the bathroom. They were in the place where she stored her toilet paper. I put one inside the door of the dryer. I mean, and the refrigerator. Everywhere that she would not expect to find them. And she got a little annoyed. She said, I have a pile in a basket here of all these notes that you have left for me. And at first I liked it, but now it's getting annoying. But, you know, she never really meant that. She was grateful because, you know, when you're living alone and working really hard, something like that can really change your life. So do the same thing for yourself. Leave little notes around your house saying how great you are in ways that you can appreciate about yourself. And it might help you get through these times a little more easily. And if you do have someone to do it with you, then it's even more fun. And if you're listening to this, the other person isn't, you can also leave notes for them without them knowing, and then they'll be like, what is going on? Where did this come from? So try to find positive things. You can Google stuff and look up little inspirational sayings, but you know, just something like "Go Girl" or "You Rock." Those things really can pick someone up at a time when they're not feeling all that great. And I had a friend who fell yesterday because of the energy in the world is very tense right now. And people who are sensitive to energy can really feel that. And we had a full moon, and she's in a big city, and she's having a hard time getting into nature and a lot of restrictions in her city. And she was just walking her dog and tripped and fell and broke her arm. So let's imagine we're sending notes to her, but do that for yourself, and it can really improve your day. Right, Tristan? And you might even put little reminders around the house. I know many people in the south where the tornadoes were are having a really hard time this morning. So you might just put a note that says pause and take a minute at that time of day to just do a heart hug to the people impacted by those tornadoes and hurricanes yesterday. Oh, the tornadoes were so bad. And anybody who's lost a loved one during this time. So sometimes they can be reminders, but mostly they should be little appreciation letters to yourself. So thanks for joining us today. We'll be back tomorrow with another episode of Conversations with a Corgi. It's cold and sunny and a little bit windy here. I am going to try to drag mulch around my yard without seeing any of those long slithering things. I'm hoping it's cold enough that they are hiding. But my friend who loves them is on speed dial to come running down the street if she hears blood-curdling screams, which she might. Thanks for joining us. Everybody have a great day.